Hello and welcome to this calming journey about mindfulness, a practice rooted in ancient wisdom that has transformed countless lives around the world. You've joined me here at the Mindful Zone, a space dedicated to helping you find peace, clarity, and joy in your everyday life. Whether you're new to meditation or simply curious about how mindfulness can help reduce stress and improve your well-being, this video is designed with you in mind. Today, we'll explore the profound teachings of Buddhism, the power of meditation, and practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life. Together, we'll uncover how these timeless practices can help you navigate life's challenges with greater ease and presence. By the end of these 2 hours, my hope is that you'll feel inspired to take small steps toward cultivating mindfulness in your own life. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly, and allow yourself to be fully present here with me as we begin. In our fast-paced, technology-driven world, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of responsibilities, deadlines, and distractions. We often find ourselves rushing from one task to the next, rarely pausing to check in with ourselves or truly experience the moment we're in. This constant busyness can leave us feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, and even exhausted. But what if there was a way to slow down, reconnect with ourselves, and rediscover the beauty of the present moment? That's where mindfulness comes in. At its core, mindfulness is the simple yet powerful practice of paying attention to the here and now without judgment. It invites us to step out of autopilot mode and become aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. When practiced regularly, mindfulness can transform not only how we relate to ourselves, but also how we interact with the world around us. This practice isn't new. Its roots trace back thousands of years to Buddhist philosophy, which emphasizes awareness, compassion, and living in harmony with the present moment. Over time, mindfulness has evolved beyond its spiritual origins to become a widely recognized tool for enhancing mental health, reducing stress, and improving overall well-being. Today, millions of people, from CEOs to students, parents to athletes, are embracing mindfulness as a way to thrive in an increasingly chaotic world. But mindfulness isn't just about sitting cross-legged on a cushion or chanting mantras, though those are wonderful practices too. It's about bringing intention and awareness to everything you do, whether it's sipping your morning coffee, walking in nature, or listening to a loved one. It's about creating moments of stillness amidst the chaos so you can show up more fully in your life. As we move through this video, I want you to approach it with an open heart and mind. There's no right or wrong way to engage with mindfulness. It's a personal journey and every step counts. If you're a beginner, think of this as a gentle introduction to a practice that could profoundly impact your life. And if you're already familiar with mindfulness, consider this an opportunity to deepen your understanding and refine your approach. Throughout our time together, I'll share insights from both ancient traditions and modern science, along with practical tips you can start using today. My goal is to make this content accessible, relatable, and actionable, so you walk away feeling empowered to create positive change in your life. So, take another deep breath, feel your feet grounded on the floor, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. And now, let's dive in. Chapter 1. What is mindfulness? Welcome to Chapter 1, where we'll explore the essence of mindfulness, a concept that is both beautifully simple and profoundly transformative. At its heart, mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment without judgment. It's not something reserved for monks on mountaintops or those who spend hours in silent retreats. It's a skill anyone can cultivate, regardless of their background, lifestyle, or experience level. And while the term mindfulness might seem trendy or modern, its roots stretch back thousands of years to ancient Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism. Let's start by breaking down what mindfulness truly means. Imagine this. You're sipping your morning coffee or tea, if that's your preference. Instead of scrolling through your phone or thinking about the day ahead, You focus entirely on the experience. You notice the warmth of the mug in your hands, the aroma rising from the surface, the subtle bitterness or sweetness of the flavor as it touches your tongue. In that moment, you're not dwelling on yesterday's arguments or worrying about tomorrow's deadlines. You're simply here, experiencing the act of drinking coffee with full awareness. That's mindfulness. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Mindfulness isn't just about savoring your morning beverage. It's a way of approaching life itself. It's about training your mind to stay present, no matter what's happening around you. This might sound easy in theory, but in practice, it can be surprisingly challenging. Why? Because our minds are constantly wandering. Research suggests that we spend nearly half of our waking hours lost in thought, replaying past events or planning for the future. While some degree of mental wandering is natural and even beneficial, it often pulls us away from the richness of the present moment. This is where mindfulness comes in. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to anchor ourselves in the here and now. We become observers of our thoughts and emotions rather than being swept away by them. Think of it like watching clouds drift across the sky. You notice them, they're there, but you don't cling to them or try to control them. They simply pass by, leaving space for clarity and calm. The origins of mindfulness can be traced back to Buddhist philosophy, which teaches us to observe our inner world with curiosity and compassion. In Buddhism, mindfulness is one of the key components of the Eightfold Path, a guide to living a balanced and ethical life. It's seen as a way to develop wisdom, deepen self-awareness, and ultimately achieve liberation from suffering. But don't worry, you don't need to adopt Buddhist beliefs to benefit from mindfulness. Its principles are universal and can be applied in any context, whether you're religious, spiritual, or secular. So how does mindfulness work in real life? Let's consider a common scenario. You're stuck in traffic and someone cuts you off. Your initial reaction might be anger. Maybe you honk your horn or mutter under your breath. But what happens when you bring mindfulness into the equation? First, you pause. You notice the surge of irritation rising in your chest. Then instead of reacting impulsively, you take a deep breath. You remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, including drivers on the road. By creating this tiny gap between stimulus and response, you give yourself the freedom to choose how to act. Over time, this kind of mindful awareness can lead to greater emotional resilience and patience, not just in traffic, but in all areas of life. Mindfulness also invites us to embrace imperfection. Too often, we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, criticizing ourselves for every little mistake. But mindfulness encourages us to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding. When you catch yourself caught up in negative self-talk, you can gently redirect your attention to the present moment. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a project at work, you might take a few moments to focus on your breathing. As you inhale and exhale, you create a sense of calm that allows you to tackle the task with renewed clarity and confidence. Another important aspect of mindfulness is its emphasis on non-judgment. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine when it's not. Rather, it's about observing your thoughts and feelings without labeling them as good or bad. For instance, if you're feeling anxious, instead of saying, "I shouldn't feel this way," you acknowledge the anxiety with curiosity. I'm feeling anxious right now. What triggered this? How is my body responding? By doing so, you create distance from the emotion, making it easier to manage. One of the most beautiful things about mindfulness is that it's accessible to everyone. You don't need special equipment, expensive classes, or hours of free time to get started. All you need is a willingness to pay attention to yourself, to others, and to the world around you. Even small acts of mindfulness can have a ripple effect, improving not only your own well-being, but also the quality of your relationships and interactions. Let's talk about some practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine. One of the simplest techniques is mindful breathing. Take a moment right now to try this. Close your eyes if you're comfortable and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the sensation of air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving your body. Don't try to change your breathing, just observe it. If your mind starts to wander, gently guide it back to your breath. Even a few minutes of this practice can help calm your nervous system and center your mind. Another powerful tool is mindful listening. The next time someone speaks to you, resist the urge to interrupt or plan your response while they're talking. Instead, give them your full attention. Notice their tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. Not only will this strengthen your connection with the other person, but it will also enhance your ability to communicate effectively. You can also practice mindfulness during everyday activities such as eating, walking, or even brushing your teeth. For example, when you eat, slow down and savor each bite. Pay attention to the textures, flavors, and aromas of your food. When you walk, notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your steps, and the sights and sounds around you. These small shifts in awareness can turn mundane tasks into opportunities for presence and joy. Of course, like any new habit, mindfulness takes practice. There will be days when your mind feels restless and focusing on the present moment seems impossible. That's okay. Remember, mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection. It's about showing up again and again with an open heart and a curious mind. And be patient with yourself and celebrate the progress you make along the way. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a question to reflect on. How often do you find yourself lost in thought, replaying past events, or worrying about the future? Take a moment to sit with that question. Notice how it feels to bring awareness to your patterns of thinking. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into the science behind mindfulness, exploring how this ancient practice has been validated by modern research. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the ideas we've discussed today. Whether it's taking a few mindful breaths, savoring a meal, or simply pausing to notice the beauty around you, every step you take brings you closer to a more peaceful, fulfilling life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue exploring the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 2: The Science Behind Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 2, where we'll delve into the fascinating science behind mindfulness. While mindfulness has its roots in ancient spiritual traditions, modern research has illuminated just how powerful this practice can be for our minds, bodies, and overall well-being. In fact, scientists have discovered that mindfulness isn't just a philosophical concept. It's a tangible tool that can reshape your brain, improve your mental health, and enhance your quality of life. To understand why mindfulness works, let's first explore what happens in our brains when we're stressed or distracted. Picture this. You're juggling multiple tasks at work, your phone is buzzing non-stop, and you're trying to remember everything on your to-do list. Your mind feels scattered, your heart races, and you might even feel a knot of tension in your chest. This state of overload activates your body's stress response, often referred to as fight or flight. During this response, your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline, hormones designed to help you respond to immediate danger. While this system was essential for survival thousands of years ago, when humans faced threats like predators, it's less helpful in today's world. Chronic stress keeps your body in a constant state of alertness, which can lead to burnout, anxiety, depression, and even physical illnesses like heart disease or weakened immune function. But here's the good news. Mindfulness can act as a reset button for your nervous system. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that promotes relaxation and recovery. Think of it as flipping the switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. Now, let's dive deeper into the neuroscience of mindfulness. One groundbreaking study conducted by researchers at Harvard University found that just 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation led to measurable changes in the brain structure. Participants in the study practiced mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, a program developed by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn in the late 1970s. After 2 months, MRI scans revealed increased grey matter density in areas associated with memory, learning, emotional regulation, and empathy. At the same time, participants showed reduced activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing fear and stress. These findings suggest that mindfulness doesn't just make you feel better temporarily, it creates lasting changes in your brain. But how exactly does mindfulness rewire the brain? To answer that question, let's talk about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change throughout life. Every time you engage in a new activity or thought pattern, your brain forms new neural connections. When you practice mindfulness, you strengthen pathways related to focus, self-awareness, and compassion, while weakening those linked to rumination and negativity. Over time, this rewiring helps you respond to challenges with greater clarity and resilience. Another area where mindfulness shines is in improving attention and cognitive performance. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, from social media notifications to endless emails, and maintaining focus can feel nearly impossible. However, studies have shown that mindfulness enhances attention span by training the brain to filter out irrelevant stimuli. For example, one experiment compared people who had completed an 8-week mindfulness course with a control group. The results? Those who practiced mindfulness performed significantly better on tasks requiring sustained attention and decision-making. Mindfulness also plays a crucial role in regulating emotions. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to handle stressful situations with grace, while others become overwhelmed? Research suggests that mindfulness can help bridge that gap by increasing activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and impulse control. When you're mindful, you create space between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose how to react rather than being driven by automatic habits or emotions. The benefits of mindfulness extend beyond mental health. They also support physical well-being. Studies have linked mindfulness practices to lower blood pressure, improved sleep quality, and even enhanced immune function. For instance, one study followed patients with chronic pain who participated in an MBSR program. Not only did they report reduced pain intensity, but they also experienced fewer symptoms of depression and anxiety. Similarly, mindfulness has been shown to boost cardiovascular health by lowering levels of inflammation and improving heart rate variability, a marker of autonomic nervous system balance. How does mindfulness achieve these effects? Part of the answer lies in its impact on stress hormones. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, which can wreak havoc on nearly every system. Mindfulness reduces cortisol production, helping the body return to a state of equilibrium. Additionally, mindfulness encourages healthier lifestyle choices. People who practice mindfulness tend to eat more mindfully, exercise regularly, and prioritize rest, all of which contribute to better physical health. Let's take a closer look at the relationship between mindfulness and mental health. Anxiety and depression are among the most common mental health challenges worldwide, affecting millions of people each year. Traditional treatments like therapy and medication can be incredibly effective, but many individuals seek complementary approaches to manage their symptoms. Enter mindfulness. Numerous studies have demonstrated that mindfulness-based interventions can reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression, sometimes as effectively as antidepressant medications. What's more, mindfulness empowers individuals to take an active role in their healing process, fostering a sense of agency and self-efficacy. One particularly compelling line of research focuses on mindfulness and addiction recovery. Addiction is often fueled by cravings and impulsive behaviors, both of which stem from dysregulated reward systems in the brain. Mindfulness helps break this cycle by teaching individuals to observe their cravings without acting on them. Instead of reaching for a cigarette or scrolling through social media during moments of discomfort, they learn to sit with their feelings and ride the wave until it passes. Over time, this builds resilience and reduces reliance on unhealthy coping mechanisms. For those interested in aging gracefully, mindfulness offers additional perks. As we grow older, our brains naturally undergo structural changes that can impair memory and cognitive function. However, studies suggest that mindfulness may slow down age-related decline. Older adults who engage in regular mindfulness practices show better preservation of grey matter volume and improved performance on memory tests compared to their peers. Moreover, mindfulness fosters a positive outlook on aging, helping individuals embrace life's later stages with gratitude and purpose. It's worth noting that mindfulness isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Different techniques resonate with different people depending on their needs and preferences. Some may find peace in seated meditation, while others prefer mindful movement practices like yoga or Tai Chi. Still, others discover mindfulness through creative outlets such as painting, writing, or playing music. The key is to experiment and find what works best for you. As we reflect on the science of mindfulness, I want to emphasize that this practice isn't about achieving perfection or eliminating all negative thoughts and emotions. Life will always have its ups and downs, and mindfulness won't shield you from hardship. What it will do, however, is equip you with tools to navigate challenges with greater ease and perspective. Whether you're dealing with stress, illness, grief, or uncertainty, mindfulness reminds you that you have the power to anchor yourself in the present moment, and that can make all the difference. Before moving on to the next chapter, I invite you to pause and consider this question. How might understanding the science of mindfulness deepen your commitment to the practice? Perhaps knowing that mindfulness physically reshapes your brain inspires you to stick with it, even on days when progress feels slow. Or maybe recognizing its wide-ranging benefits motivates you to share this knowledge with others. Whatever your takeaway, hold on to it as we continue exploring the transformative potential of mindfulness. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's keep uncovering the ways mindfulness can enrich your life. Chapter 3: Reducing Stress Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 3, where we'll explore one of the most immediate and powerful benefits of mindfulness, its ability to reduce stress. In today's fast-paced world, stress is almost inevitable. Whether it's work deadlines, financial pressures, family responsibilities, or simply the constant hum of modern life, stress can creep into every corner of our existence. But here's the good news. Mindfulness offers a pathway to calm amidst the chaos, a way to reclaim your peace and restore balance to your mind and body. To understand how mindfulness alleviates stress, let's first examine what happens when we're under pressure. When you encounter a stressful situation, say an urgent email from your boss or an unexpected bill, your body responds by activating the fight or flight system. This ancient survival mechanism floods your bloodstream with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, preparing you to either confront the threat or flee from it. While this response was crucial for our ancestors facing physical dangers, it's less helpful in modern life, where many stresses are psychological rather than physical. When stress becomes chronic, it takes a toll on both your mental and physical health. You might experience symptoms like irritability, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, headaches, or even digestive issues. Over time, prolonged exposure to stress hormones increases your risk of serious conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and weakened immune function. It's clear that finding effective ways to manage stress isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about protecting your long-term well-being. This is where mindfulness steps in. At its core, mindfulness teaches us to pause and observe our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment. Instead of reacting impulsively to stress, we create space to respond thoughtfully. For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic and running late for an important meeting. Your instinctive reaction might be frustration or panic, but with mindfulness you take a deep breath, acknowledge your feelings, and remind yourself that getting upset won't change the situation. By choosing to stay present, you prevent stress from spiraling out of control. One of the primary ways mindfulness reduces stress is by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your autonomic nervous system responsible for rest and relaxation. When you engage in mindful practices like deep breathing or meditation, you signal to your brain that it's safe to relax. This slows your heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and decreases cortisol levels, helping your body return to a state of equilibrium. Let's dive deeper into some specific mindfulness techniques designed to combat stress. One of the simplest and most accessible tools is mindful breathing. Take a moment right now to try this exercise. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and bring your attention to your breath. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then gently flowing out again. If your mind starts to wander, which it inevitably will, gently guide it back to your breath. Even a few minutes of focused breathing can help calm your nervous system and ground you in the present moment. Another powerful technique is the body scan meditation. This practice involves systematically bringing awareness to different parts of your body, starting at your toes and moving upward to the top of your head. As you focus on each area, notice any sensations, whether they're tingling, warmth, tension, or relaxation. The goal isn't to fix anything, but to cultivate awareness and release unnecessary tension. Many people find this practice particularly soothing before bed, as it helps quiet the mind and prepare the body for sleep. Mindful movement is another excellent way to reduce stress. Activities like yoga, tai chi, or even a mindful walk in nature combine physical activity with intentional awareness. For instance, during a mindful walk, you pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your steps, and the sights and sounds around you. This dual focus on movement and presence not only reduces stress but also boosts mood and energy levels. Now let's talk about how mindfulness transforms the way we relate to stress itself. Often our suffering stems not from the stressor itself but from our resistance to it. Think about it. How often do you say things like, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "Why is this happening to me?" These thoughts amplify stress by adding layers of judgment and self-criticism. Mindfulness encourages a different approach, one rooted in acceptance and curiosity. Instead of fighting your feelings, you acknowledge them with compassion. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might silently say to yourself, "It's okay to feel this way, I'm doing my best." This shift in perspective can make a world of difference. Research supports the effectiveness of mindfulness in reducing stress. Numerous studies have shown that mindfulness-based interventions, such as mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, significantly lower perceived stress levels and improve overall quality of life. Participants in these programs report feeling more resilient, less reactive, and better equipped to handle life's challenges. But mindfulness doesn't stop at individual benefits. It also enhances interpersonal relationships. When you're stressed, it's easy to snap at loved ones or withdraw emotionally. However, practicing mindfulness helps you regulate your emotions, making it easier to communicate calmly and empathetically. For example, if your partner says something that triggers frustration, mindfulness gives you the tools to pause, breathe, and respond constructively rather than lashing out. This not only strengthens your connection, but also creates a ripple effect of positivity in your interactions. Of course, integrating mindfulness into daily life requires commitment and patience. Like any skill, it takes time to develop. There may be days when your mind feels restless and focusing on the present seems impossible. That's perfectly normal. The key is consistency, not perfection. Even small moments of mindfulness add up over time, creating a foundation of resilience that supports you through life's ups and downs. Here's a practical tip to get started. Identify a few mindful moments throughout your day. These could be routine activities like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or eating a meal. During these moments, intentionally slow down and engage all your senses. Notice the texture of your toothbrush, the warmth of the water, the flavors of your food. By infusing ordinary tasks with mindfulness, you transform them into opportunities for relaxation and joy. For those dealing with high-stress environments, such as healthcare professionals, teachers, or caregivers, mindfulness can be especially transformative. Studies have shown that mindfulness training reduces burnout and improves job satisfaction among individuals working in demanding fields. By fostering greater self-awareness and emotional regulation, Mindfulness enables these professionals to navigate their roles with compassion and clarity. Let's also consider the role of mindfulness in managing acute stress. Sometimes life throws curveballs that leave us reeling: a sudden illness, a job loss, or the loss of a loved one. In these moments, mindfulness serves as an anchor, helping us stay grounded despite the storm. It reminds us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can choose how we respond. Rather than succumbing to despair, mindfulness invites us to meet each moment with openness and courage. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reflection question. What's one source of stress in your life that you'd like to approach differently? Perhaps it's a recurring challenge at work, a strained relationship, or a personal habit that adds unnecessary tension. Whatever it is, imagine bringing mindfulness to that situation. How might observing your thoughts and emotions with kindness change your experience? In the next chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness enhances focus and productivity, empowering you to accomplish more while staying fully present. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the techniques we've discussed today. Whether it's practicing mindful breathing, trying a body scan, or simply pausing to check in with yourself, every step you take brings you closer to a calmer, more centered life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the profound impact mindfulness can have on your well-being. Chapter 4: Improving Focus and Productivity Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 4, where we'll explore how mindfulness can transform your ability to focus and boost your productivity. In today's hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. Social media notifications, endless emails, buzzing phones, and staying on task has become one of the greatest challenges of modern life. But what if I told you that mindfulness could be the key to reclaiming your attention and achieving more with less effort? Let's dive in and uncover the science, strategies, and practical applications of mindful focus. To begin, let's talk about why focus is so elusive for many of us. Our brains are wired to seek novelty. Thousands of years ago, this trait helped our ancestors survive by alerting them to potential threats or opportunities in their environment. However, in today's digital age, this same tendency often works against us. Every beep, buzz, or pop-up pulls our attention away from what we're doing, fragmenting our concentration and leaving us feeling scattered. The result? We spend hours multitasking but accomplish very little meaningful work. This is where mindfulness comes in. By training your brain to stay present, mindfulness helps you resist the pull of distractions and maintain sustained focus. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice focusing your attention, the stronger your ability to concentrate becomes. And just as physical exercise improves your endurance over time, mindfulness enhances your mental stamina, allowing you to tackle tasks with greater efficiency and clarity. Let's take a closer look at the neuroscience behind mindfulness and focus. Research shows that regular mindfulness practice increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive functions like decision-making, problem-solving, and impulse control. At the same time, it reduces activity in the default mode network, DMN, which is associated with mind-wandering and self-referential thoughts. When the DMN is overly active, we tend to ruminate, daydream, or get lost in unproductive thought loops. By quieting this network, mindfulness creates space for deep, uninterrupted focus. One of the most compelling studies on this topic was conducted by researchers at the University of California, Santa Barbara. They found that students who participated in a 2-week mindfulness training program showed significant improvements in both working memory capacity and reading comprehension. These cognitive gains translated into better performance on standardized tests, demonstrating the tangible impact of mindfulness on academic and professional success. But mindfulness doesn't just enhance raw cognitive abilities, it also improves the quality of your focus. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to glide through their work with ease, while others struggle to complete even simple tasks? Often, the difference lies in their approach. People who practice mindfulness bring full presence to whatever they're doing, whether it's writing an email, leading a meeting, or brainstorming ideas. This single-minded focus not only boosts productivity, but also makes the process more enjoyable. Instead of rushing through tasks, you immerse yourself in the experience, finding satisfaction in the act of creation itself. Now let's discuss some practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine to improve focus and productivity. One of the simplest techniques is the mindful pause. Before starting a new task, take a moment to center yourself. Close your eyes if possible and take 3 slow, deliberate breaths. As you inhale, imagine drawing in calmness and clarity. As you exhale, release any tension or distractions. This brief reset primes your brain for focused action, making it easier to dive into your work with intention. Another powerful tool is the Pomodoro technique, combined with mindfulness. If you're unfamiliar with the Pomodoro technique, it involves breaking your work into intervals, typically 25 minutes of focused effort followed by a short break. During each interval, commit to giving your undivided attention to the task at hand. To add a mindful twist, use the breaks to check in with yourself, stretch, breathe deeply, or simply observe your surroundings. This rhythm of focused work and mindful rest keeps your energy levels high and prevents burnout. Mindful prioritization is another essential skill for boosting productivity. Too often we waste time on low-priority tasks because they feel urgent or easy to complete. But mindfulness teaches us to step back and evaluate what truly matters. Start each day by identifying your top 3 priorities, the tasks that will have the greatest impact on your goals. Then, tackle them first thing in the morning when your mind is fresh and free from distractions. By aligning your actions with your values, you create a sense of purpose that fuels motivation and focus. For those who work in creative fields, mindfulness can unlock new levels of inspiration and innovation. Many artists, writers, and entrepreneurs credit mindfulness with helping them access their flow state, a psychological phenomenon characterized by complete absorption in an activity. In flow, time seems to disappear and ideas flow effortlessly. While flow states are often spontaneous, mindfulness increases the likelihood of entering this optimal zone by clearing mental clutter and fostering a sense of presence. Of course, improving focus isn't just about individual performance. It also benefits teams and organizations. Studies have shown that workplaces that prioritize mindfulness report higher employee engagement, better communication, and increased collaboration. For example, companies like Google, Apple, and Nike offer mindfulness programs to help employees manage stress, sharpen their focus, and enhance creativity. These initiatives not only improve individual well-being, but also drive organizational success. Let's address a common misconception. Some people believe that multitasking is the key to getting more done. However, research consistently shows that multitasking actually lowers productivity and increases errors. When you try to juggle multiple tasks at once, your brain switches rapidly between them, costing valuable time and mental energy. Mindfulness, on the other hand, encourages single tasking, devoting your full attention to one thing at a time. Not only does this approach lead to higher quality results, but it also reduces stress and fatigue. Here's a real-world example to illustrate the power of mindful focus. Imagine you're preparing a presentation for work. Without mindfulness, you might jump straight into creating slides without a clear plan, frequently checking your phone or email along the way. The result? A rushed, disjointed presentation that fails to impress. Now, imagine approaching the same task mindfully. You start by setting an intention. What message do you want to convey? Then, you eliminate distractions, silence your phone, and give your full attention to crafting each slide. The end product is polished, coherent, and impactful. It's important to acknowledge that cultivating focus takes practice. Your mind will wander. That's natural. The key is to notice when it happens and gently guide your attention back to the task at hand. Over time, this process becomes easier, and your ability to sustain focus improves. Remember, mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection, it's about showing up fully again and again with patience and persistence. As we reflect on the connection between mindfulness and productivity, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. How might bringing mindful awareness to your work transform not only your output but also your experience of the process? Would you feel less overwhelmed, more fulfilled, perhaps even inspired? Take a moment to sit with this idea and envision the possibilities. In the next chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness builds emotional resilience, empowering you to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the strategies we've discussed today. Whether it's practicing mindful pauses, embracing single tasking, or integrating mindfulness into your workflow, every step you take brings you closer to a more focused, productive life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue discovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 5: Cultivating Emotional Resilience Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 5, where we'll explore how mindfulness can help you cultivate emotional resilience, the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace, strength, and adaptability. Life is full of ups and downs, from everyday stresses to significant hardships, and developing resilience is essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Mindfulness provides a powerful toolkit for building this resilience, helping you respond to difficulties with greater clarity, compassion, and courage. Let's dive in and discover how mindfulness transforms the way we relate to our emotions and experiences. To begin, let's define what emotional resilience means. At its core, resilience isn't about avoiding pain or hardship. It's about learning to face adversity with openness and flexibility. Resilient individuals don't suppress their emotions or pretend everything is fine when it's not. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, process them constructively, and emerge stronger on the other side. This capacity to bounce back from setbacks doesn't come naturally to everyone. It's a skill that can be nurtured through practices like mindfulness. So, how does mindfulness contribute to emotional resilience? The answer lies in its emphasis on awareness, acceptance, and non-judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. For example, imagine you're feeling overwhelmed by a looming deadline at work. Without mindfulness, you might spiral into anxiety, catastrophizing about worst-case scenarios. But with mindfulness, you pause, take a deep breath, and notice the sensations in your body, perhaps tension in your chest or a racing heart. You acknowledge these feelings without judgment, reminding yourself that they are temporary and manageable. This simple shift in perspective creates space for calm and rational thinking, empowering you to address the challenge effectively. Let's delve deeper into the role of self-awareness in emotional resilience. One of the foundational principles of mindfulness is tuning into your inner world, the thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations that shape your experience. By becoming more attuned to your internal landscape, you gain valuable insights into your triggers, patterns, and coping mechanisms. For instance, if you notice that certain situations consistently provoke anger or frustration, you can explore the underlying causes and develop healthier ways to respond. Over time, this heightened self-awareness strengthens your ability to regulate your emotions, reducing reactivity and increasing emotional stability. Another crucial aspect of mindfulness is its focus on acceptance. Too often we resist uncomfortable emotions, labeling them as bad or wrong. This resistance only amplifies our suffering, creating a cycle of negativity and avoidance. Mindfulness invites us to embrace all aspects of our emotional experience, even the difficult ones, with kindness and curiosity. For example, instead of trying to push away sadness after a loss, you allow yourself to feel it fully, recognizing it as a natural part of the grieving process. Paradoxically, accepting your emotions in this way makes them easier to manage, as you no longer expend energy fighting against them. Now, let's talk about the connection between mindfulness and compassion. an essential ingredient for emotional resilience. Compassion begins with extending kindness toward yourself. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves for perceived failures or shortcomings, but mindfulness encourages us to treat ourselves with the same care and understanding we'd offer a close friend. For instance, if you make a mistake at work, instead of berating yourself, you might say, "I'm human and mistakes happen. What can I learn from this?" This self-compassionate mindset not only reduces stress, but also fosters resilience by reinforcing a sense of worthiness and belonging. Compassion also extends outward, strengthening our relationships and communities. When you approach others with empathy and understanding, you create a supportive environment that enhances collective resilience. For example, if a colleague seems stressed or upset, mindfulness empowers you to listen attentively and respond with warmth rather than judgment. These small acts of kindness ripple outward, fostering trust and cooperation that benefit everyone involved. Research supports the link between mindfulness and emotional resilience. Numerous studies have shown that mindfulness-based interventions, such as mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Participants in these programs report feeling more grounded, less reactive, and better equipped to handle life's challenges. Additionally, mindfulness has been linked to increased grey matter density in brain regions associated with emotional regulation, such as the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. These structural changes enhance our ability to process emotions and recover from adversity. Let's consider some practical strategies for cultivating emotional resilience through mindfulness. One effective technique is the RAIN method, which stands for recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. Here's how it works. Recognize. Notice what you're feeling in the moment. Are you angry, sad, anxious? Simply naming the emotion helps bring it into conscious awareness. Allow. Give yourself permission to feel whatever arises without trying to change or suppress it. Remember, emotions are temporary visitors. They will pass if you let them. Investigate. Explore the sensation in your body. Where do you feel the emotion most strongly? Is it a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or heat in your face? Investigating the physical manifestation of your emotion deepens your understanding of it. Nurture. Offer yourself compassion and support. Place a hand on your heart. Take a few calming breaths, or silently repeat affirmations like, "I am enough," or "This too shall pass." By practicing RAIN regularly, you build emotional resilience by transforming challenging moments into opportunities for growth and healing. Mindful journaling is another powerful tool for processing emotions and building resilience. Set aside a few minutes each day to write about your thoughts and feelings without censoring yourself. Don't worry about grammar or structure, just let the words flow freely. Journaling helps you externalize your emotions, making them easier to examine and understand. Over time, you may notice recurring themes or patterns, providing valuable clues for personal development. For those navigating grief, trauma, or major life transitions, mindfulness offers a lifeline during turbulent times. It reminds us that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can choose how we respond. For example, someone dealing with the loss of a loved one might use mindfulness to stay present with their pain, honoring their feelings without letting them consume them entirely. Similarly, someone recovering from an injury might practice gratitude for what their body can do, cultivating a positive outlook despite limitations. Let's also highlight the importance of mindfulness in preventing burnout, a common consequence of chronic stress and emotional exhaustion. Burnout often stems from neglecting our own needs in pursuit of external goals. Mindfulness counters this tendency by encouraging us to prioritize self-care and set healthy boundaries. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, mindfulness might prompt you to take a break, communicate your limits to colleagues, or delegate tasks when necessary. By honoring your limits, you preserve your energy and protect your well-being. Of course, building emotional resilience isn't a linear process. There will be days when mindfulness feels effortless and others when it seems impossible to stay present. That's okay. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about learning to rise again each time you stumble. Be gentle with yourself and celebrate the progress you make along the way. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reflection question. What's one area of your life where you could use more emotional resilience? Perhaps it's managing conflict, handling rejection, or staying grounded during uncertain times. Imagine approaching that situation with mindfulness. How might observing your emotions with kindness and curiosity change your experience? In the next chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness enhances physical health, supporting your body as well as your mind. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the techniques we've discussed today. Whether it's practicing the RAIN method, journaling your thoughts, or simply pausing to check in with yourself, every step you take brings you closer to greater resilience and well-being. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 6: Enhancing Physical Health Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 6, where we'll explore how mindfulness can profoundly enhance your physical health. While mindfulness is often associated with mental well-being, its benefits extend far beyond the mind. It supports your body in remarkable ways, from improving sleep quality to boosting immune function. In this chapter, we'll uncover the science behind these effects and provide practical tips for integrating mindfulness into your daily routine to nurture both your mind and body. Let's dive in and discover how mindfulness can be a cornerstone of holistic health. To begin, let's consider the intricate connection between the mind and body. For centuries, ancient healing traditions like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine have emphasized that our thoughts and emotions directly influence our physical health. Modern research has validated this perspective, revealing that chronic stress, negative thought patterns, and unresolved emotions can manifest as physical ailments such as heart disease, digestive issues, and weakened immunity. Mindfulness acts as a bridge between the mind and body, helping us break free from harmful cycles and fostering harmony within ourselves. One of the most immediate ways mindfulness improves physical health is by reducing stress, a known contributor to countless health problems. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that, in excess, can wreak havoc on nearly every system. Elevated cortisol levels are linked to high blood pressure, weight gain, inflammation, and even impaired cognitive function. By practicing mindfulness, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your autonomic nervous system responsible for rest and relaxation. This lowers cortisol production, promoting a state of equilibrium that allows your body to heal and thrive. Let's take a closer look at some specific areas of physical health where mindfulness makes a difference. First up, sleep. If you've ever tossed and turned at night, unable to quiet your racing thoughts, you know how frustrating insomnia can be. Poor sleep not only leaves you feeling groggy, but also compromises your immune system, memory, and mood. Mindfulness offers a natural solution by calming the mind and preparing the body for rest. Techniques like mindful breathing, body scans, and guided meditations are particularly effective for improving sleep quality. Studies show that individuals who practice mindfulness report falling asleep faster, staying asleep longer, and waking up feeling more refreshed. Now, let's talk about digestion, an often overlooked aspect of physical health. Did you know that stress can disrupt your gut microbiome, leading to issues like bloating, constipation, or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS? The gut-brain axis, a bi-directional communication pathway between your brain and digestive system, plays a critical role in maintaining balance. Mindful eating is one way to support this connection. Instead of rushing through meals or eating while distracted, mindfulness encourages you to savor each bite. Pay attention to the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. Chew slowly and thoroughly, allowing your body to digest properly. Not only does this improve nutrient absorption, but it also helps you recognize hunger and fullness cues, preventing overeating. Mindfulness also strengthens the immune system, making you less susceptible to illness. Chronic stress suppresses immune function, leaving you vulnerable to infections and diseases. However, mindfulness practices like meditation and yoga reduce inflammation and increase the production of antibodies, enhancing your body's ability to fight off pathogens. One study found that participants who engaged in an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction (MBSR) program showed significant increases in antibody levels after receiving a flu vaccine compared to a control group. These findings underscore the powerful impact mindfulness can have on your body's defenses. Another area where mindfulness shines is pain management. Whether it's chronic pain from conditions like arthritis or acute discomfort from an injury, mindfulness teaches you to relate to pain differently. Rather than resisting or fearing it, you observe it with curiosity and compassion. For example, if you're experiencing back pain, you might bring your attention to the sensation. Is it sharp or dull? Does it move or stay still? By acknowledging the pain without judgment, you create distance from it, reducing its intensity. Research supports this approach, showing that mindfulness-based interventions decrease pain severity and improve quality of life for individuals living with chronic pain. Let's shift our focus to cardiovascular health. One of the most well-documented benefits of mindfulness. Heart disease remains a leading cause of death worldwide, yet lifestyle changes can significantly lower risk factors. Mindfulness promotes heart health by lowering blood pressure, reducing cholesterol levels, and improving heart rate variability, a marker of autonomic nervous system balance. Activities like mindful movement, yoga, tai chi, and deep breathing exercises stimulate circulation, strengthen the heart muscle, and enhance overall cardiovascular resilience. Moreover, mindfulness fosters healthier habits such as regular exercise, mindful eating, and smoking cessation, further protecting your heart. For those dealing with weight management challenges, mindfulness offers a sustainable alternative to restrictive diets and quick fixes. Emotional eating, turning to food for comfort during times of stress or boredom, is a common obstacle to achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. Mindfulness interrupts this pattern by increasing awareness of your hunger signals and emotional triggers. Before reaching for a snack, pause and ask yourself, am I truly hungry, or am I seeking distraction? What am I feeling right now, and how can I address it in a healthier way? Over time, this mindful approach to eating cultivates a balanced relationship with food, free from guilt or shame. Physical activity is another domain where mindfulness amplifies results. Whether you're running, swimming, lifting weights, or simply taking a walk, bringing mindful awareness to your movements enhances performance and enjoyment. Instead of zoning out or focusing solely on outcomes, for example, burning calories, tune into the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your breath, the stretch of your muscles, the contact of your feet with the ground. This embodied presence not only prevents injuries, but also deepens your connection to your body, making exercise feel less like a chore and more like a celebration of what your body can do. Let's also acknowledge the role of mindfulness in managing chronic illnesses. Conditions like diabetes, cancer, and autoimmune disorders require long-term care and adaptation. Mindfulness empowers patients to cope with symptoms, adhere to treatment plans, and maintain a positive outlook despite challenges. For instance, cancer survivors who participate in mindfulness programs report reduced fatigue, improved mood, and greater overall well-being. Similarly, individuals with diabetes find that mindfulness helps them regulate blood sugar levels by fostering consistent self-care behaviors. Of course, integrating mindfulness into your daily life requires intention and creativity. Start small by incorporating mindful moments throughout your day. For example, drink your morning tea or coffee mindfully, savoring each sip. Take a few conscious breaths before transitioning between tasks. Practice gratitude by reflecting on 3 things you appreciate about your body, no matter how small. These simple actions accumulate over time, creating a foundation of health and vitality. As we reflect on the profound impact of mindfulness on physical health, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. What's one area of your physical well-being that could benefit from greater mindfulness? Perhaps it's improving your sleep, easing tension, headaches, or finding joy in movement. Imagine approaching that area with presence and curiosity. How might observing your body with kindness and awareness transform your experience? In the next chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness strengthens relationships, fostering deeper connections and mutual understanding. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the strategies we've discussed today, whether it's practicing mindful eating, incorporating mindful movement, or simply pausing to check in with your body. Every step you take brings you closer to holistic health and well-being. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 7. Strengthening Relationships Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 7, where we'll explore how mindfulness can transform your relationships, whether they're with family members, romantic partners, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. Relationships are the foundation of our lives, shaping our happiness, sense of belonging, and overall well-being. Yet, despite their importance, many of us struggle to nurture these connections, often due to stress, miscommunication, or simply being too distracted to truly engage. Mindfulness offers a pathway to deeper connection, fostering empathy, understanding, and mutual respect. Let's dive in and uncover how this practice can strengthen the bonds you share with others. To begin, let's consider what makes relationships thrive. At their core, healthy relationships are built on presence, trust, and open communication. However, modern life, with its endless distractions and fast pace, often pulls us away from these essential elements. How many times have you been physically present with someone but mentally elsewhere, scrolling through your phone or thinking about your next task? While multitasking might seem efficient, it erodes the quality of your interactions, leaving both parties feeling unseen and unheard. Mindfulness counters this tendency by teaching us to show up fully in the moment, creating space for genuine connection. One of the most profound ways mindfulness enhances relationships is through deep listening. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's about truly understanding the other person's perspective, emotions, and needs. When you listen mindfully, you set aside distractions and judgments, giving the speaker your undivided attention. You notice not only their words, but also their tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. This level of attentiveness communicates that you value and respect them, strengthening the bond between you. For example, imagine a partner sharing something vulnerable. They feel heard and validated because you're fully present, rather than interrupting or planning your response while they speak. Let's delve deeper into the role of empathy in mindful relationships. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, is a cornerstone of meaningful connections. Mindfulness cultivates empathy by encouraging us to step outside our own experiences and attune to the emotions of others. When someone expresses sadness, frustration, or joy, mindfulness helps us respond with compassion rather than defensiveness or indifference. For instance, if a friend confides that they're struggling at work, instead of offering unsolicited advice or dismissing their concerns, you might say, "That sounds really tough, I'm here for you." This simple act of validation can make all the difference, fostering a sense of safety and support. Now let's talk about conflict, a natural part of any relationship. Disagreements are inevitable, but how we handle them determines whether they strengthen or weaken our bonds. Mindfulness equips us with tools to navigate conflicts constructively, transforming potential arguments into opportunities for growth. The first step is pausing before reacting. When tensions rise, our instinctive response might be anger, defensiveness, or withdrawal, but mindfulness creates a gap between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose our words and actions thoughtfully. For example, if your partner criticizes something you've done, instead of snapping back, you might take a deep breath, acknowledge their feelings, and ask clarifying questions. This approach diffuses tension and opens the door to productive dialogue. Mindfulness also fosters self-awareness, which plays a crucial role in relationship dynamics. By observing our thoughts, emotions, and triggers, we gain insight into how we contribute to conflicts or misunderstandings. For instance, If you notice that certain topics consistently provoke irritation, you can explore why that is and address the root cause. This self-reflection not only improves your behavior, but also models emotional maturity for those around you, inspiring them to do the same. Another powerful aspect of mindfulness in relationships is its emphasis on gratitude and appreciation. Too often, we take loved ones for granted, focusing on their flaws or shortcomings rather than celebrating their strengths. Mindfulness encourages us to shift our perspective, noticing the small acts of kindness, effort, and love that enrich our lives. For example, you might express gratitude to your partner for cooking dinner, thank a colleague for their collaboration, or compliment a friend on their resilience during a challenging time. These expressions of appreciation reinforce positive behaviors and deepen mutual affection. Let's consider some practical strategies for bringing mindfulness into your relationships. One effective technique is the mindful pause. Before responding to someone, especially during heated moments, take a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself. This brief pause prevents impulsive reactions and ensures that your response aligns with your intentions. Another strategy is mindful touch, such as holding hands, hugging, or placing a reassuring hand on someone's shoulder. Physical contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, promoting feelings of closeness and security. For parents, mindfulness can revolutionize the way you connect with your children. Parenting is inherently challenging, filled with moments of frustration, exhaustion, and uncertainty. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded, responding to your child's needs with patience and understanding. Instead of reacting harshly to tantrums or meltdowns, you might take a few calming breaths and remind yourself that this phase will pass. By modeling mindfulness, you also teach your children valuable skills for managing their own emotions and building healthy relationships. In romantic partnerships, mindfulness can reignite intimacy and passion. Over time, relationships can fall into routines that feel monotonous or disconnected. Mindfulness invites you to rediscover the beauty in everyday moments with your partner. For example, savor the quiet ritual of sharing breakfast together. Notice the way sunlight dances across their face, or express curiosity about their dreams and aspirations. These small gestures of presence and attentiveness remind both of you why you fell in love in the first place. Friendships also benefit immensely from mindfulness. In today's busy world, it's easy to neglect friendships, assuming they'll endure without effort. However, like any relationship, friendships require nurturing. Mindfulness encourages you to prioritize quality over quantity, investing in meaningful conversations and shared experiences rather than superficial interactions. For instance, instead of scrolling through social media updates, reach out to a friend with a thoughtful message, or plan a mindful activity together, such as a nature walk or meditation session. Colleagues and professional relationships can similarly flourish through mindfulness. Workplace dynamics often involve power struggles, miscommunication, and stress. Mindfulness promotes collaboration by fostering active listening, clear communication, and emotional regulation. For example, during meetings, practice staying fully engaged rather than checking emails or zoning out. If a co-worker shares an idea, offer constructive feedback rather than criticism. These mindful habits create a culture of respect and trust, enhancing team cohesion and productivity. Research supports the impact of mindfulness on relationships. Studies have shown that individuals who practice mindfulness report higher levels of relationship satisfaction, better conflict resolution skills, and increased empathy. Additionally, partners of mindful individuals tend to experience less stress and greater emotional support, highlighting the ripple effect of mindfulness within relationships. Of course, integrating mindfulness into your relationships requires commitment and vulnerability. It means showing up authentically, even when it's uncomfortable, and prioritizing connection over convenience. There will be days when mindfulness feels effortless, and others when old patterns resurface. That's okay. The key is consistency, not perfection. Every mindful interaction strengthens your relationships, one conversation at a time. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reflection question. Who in your life could benefit from your mindful presence? Perhaps it's a loved one who feels distant, a colleague who seems overwhelmed, or a stranger who needs a kind word. Imagine approaching that person with openness and curiosity. How might observing them with empathy and compassion change your dynamic? In the next chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness helps you find joy in everyday moments, transforming ordinary experiences into sources of wonder and delight. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the strategies we've discussed today. Whether it's practicing deep listening, expressing gratitude, or simply pausing to connect, every step you take brings you closer to richer, more fulfilling relationships. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 8. Finding Joy in Everyday Moments Through Mindfulness. Welcome to Chapter 8, where we'll explore how mindfulness can help you find joy in the ordinary moments of life. Too often, we chase happiness in grand achievements, future plans, or external validation, only to discover that true contentment lies closer than we think in the here and now. Mindfulness teaches us to slow down, pay attention, and savor the beauty of everyday experiences. In this chapter, we'll uncover how this practice transforms mundane tasks into sources of wonder, deepens your appreciation for life's simple pleasures, and cultivates a lasting sense of joy. Let's dive in and learn how to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. To begin, let's reflect on why so many of us struggle to feel joy in our daily lives. Modern society glorifies busyness, productivity, and constant striving. We're conditioned to believe that happiness is something we achieve once we reach a certain milestone, whether it's landing a dream job, buying a house, or losing weight. But what happens when we finally attain these goals? More often than not, the joy is fleeting, replaced by new desires and expectations. This cycle of seeking and dissatisfaction leaves us perpetually yearning for more, unable to fully appreciate the present moment. Mindfulness offers a different approach, one rooted in presence rather than pursuit. Instead of postponing happiness until some distant future, mindfulness invites us to find it right here, right now. It reminds us that joy doesn't have to come from extraordinary events. It can be found in the smallest, most overlooked details of life. The warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds chirping outside your window, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. These seemingly insignificant moments are brimming with potential for delight if we simply pause to notice them. One of the core principles of mindfulness is savoring, the act of fully immersing yourself in an experience, no matter how routine or trivial it may seem. For example, consider eating a meal. Instead of rushing through it while scrolling through your phone, take the time to engage all your senses. Notice the vibrant colors of your food, the textures as you chew, the flavors as they unfold on your tongue. By doing so, you transform an ordinary act into a feast for the senses, amplifying its pleasure and nourishment. Research shows that savoring increases positive emotions and reduces stress, making it a powerful tool for cultivating joy. Let's delve deeper into how mindfulness enhances our ability to notice and appreciate beauty in the world around us. Nature, in particular, offers endless opportunities for mindful observation. Whether you're walking through a forest, strolling along a beach, or simply gazing at the sky, nature invites you to connect with something larger than yourself. Pay attention to the intricate patterns of tree bark, the rhythmic crashing of waves, or the way clouds drift lazily across the horizon. These moments remind us of life's impermanence and interconnectedness, evoking awe and gratitude. Studies have shown that spending time in nature and being fully present while doing so boosts mood, lowers cortisol levels, and improves overall well-being. Now, let's talk about the role of gratitude in finding joy through mindfulness. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, rewiring our brains to recognize and appreciate the good in our lives. When you practice mindfulness, you naturally become more attuned to the blessings around you, both big and small. For instance, instead of taking your morning shower for granted, you might marvel at the sensation of warm water cascading over your body. Or instead of dreading household chores, you might feel grateful for having a home to clean. Gratitude doesn't eliminate challenges, but it reframes them within a broader context of abundance and possibility. Another powerful aspect of mindfulness is its ability to heighten sensory awareness. Our 5 senses serve as portals to the present moment, grounding us in the tangible reality of our experience. Try this exercise. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Now, tune into each of your senses one at a time. What do you hear? Birds singing, wind rustling leaves, or perhaps the hum of distant traffic? What do you smell? Freshly cut grass, baked goods wafting from a nearby kitchen, or the crisp scent of autumn air? What do you feel? The soft fabric of your clothes against your skin, the cool breeze brushing your face, or the steady rhythm of your heartbeat? Engaging your senses in this way anchors you in the richness of the present moment, awakening a childlike sense of wonder. Mindfulness also helps us embrace imperfection, a key ingredient for finding joy in everyday life. Perfectionism often robs us of satisfaction as we become fixated on flaws and shortcomings. But mindfulness teaches us to see beauty in the imperfect, the incomplete, and the transient. For example, imagine looking at a cracked ceramic bowl. Rather than viewing the crack as a defect, you might see it as evidence of history and resilience, a story etched into the object itself. This perspective extends to people too. When you observe others mindfully, you notice their quirks, vulnerabilities, and unique qualities, fostering deeper connection and acceptance. Let's consider some practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily routine to enhance joy. One simple technique is the 3-breath check-in. Throughout your day, pause and take 3 deliberate breaths. As you inhale, draw in calmness and clarity. As you exhale, release tension and distractions. Use this brief moment to ground yourself in the present and acknowledge whatever you're experiencing, whether it's joy, frustration, or neutrality. Over time, these micro moments of mindfulness accumulate, creating a foundation of presence and positivity. Another strategy is to designate specific activities as mindful rituals. For example, make your morning coffee or tea a sacred ritual. Focus on every step of the process, from measuring the grounds to pouring the water to watching the steam rise. Sip slowly, savoring each drop. Similarly, treat daily chores like washing dishes or folding laundry as opportunities for mindfulness. Pay attention to the sensations in your hands, the rhythm of your movements, and the satisfaction of completing a task. These intentional acts infuse even the most mundane activities with meaning and joy. For those who enjoy creative pursuits, mindfulness amplifies the joy of artistic expression. Whether you're painting, writing, playing music, or gardening, bringing full presence to your craft allows you to lose yourself in the flow of creation. Instead of worrying about outcomes or comparing yourself to others, focus on the process itself, the stroke of a brush, the formation of words, the melody emerging from your instrument. This immersive engagement not only enhances creativity but also fosters a profound sense of fulfillment. Let's also highlight the importance of play in cultivating joy through mindfulness. As adults, we often forget how to play, dismissing it as frivolous or childish. Yet play is essential for mental and emotional well-being, offering a break from responsibilities and reigniting our sense of curiosity. Mindfulness encourages us to approach play with presence and enthusiasm, whether it's dancing, building sandcastles, or tossing a frisbee with friends. By letting go of self-consciousness and embracing spontaneity, we reconnect with the pure, unadulterated joy of being alive. Research supports the link between mindfulness and increased happiness. Numerous studies have shown that individuals who practice mindfulness report higher levels of life satisfaction, optimism, and emotional resilience. They're better able to regulate their emotions, maintain perspective during difficult times, and find silver linings in adversity. Additionally, mindfulness strengthens neural pathways associated with positive emotions, making it easier to access joy even in challenging circumstances. Of course, finding joy in everyday moments isn't always easy. Life inevitably includes pain, loss, and hardship, and mindfulness doesn't shield us from these realities. However, it equips us to navigate them with greater grace and courage. By staying present with discomfort, we learn to coexist with it rather than resist it, reducing its intensity over time. Paradoxically, this openness to suffering makes room for joy to emerge, even amidst sorrow. As we reflect on the power of mindfulness to uncover joy in the ordinary, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. What's one ordinary moment you can turn extraordinary today? Perhaps it's watching a sunset, listening to your favorite song, or simply breathing deeply as you wake up. Imagine approaching that moment with full presence and curiosity. How might observing it mindfully deepen your appreciation and delight? In the next chapter, we'll explore how to overcome common challenges in establishing a mindfulness practice, providing practical tips to stay consistent and motivated. Until then, I encourage you to experiment with the strategies we've discussed today. Whether it's savoring a meal, engaging your senses, or practicing gratitude, every step you take brings you closer to a life filled with joy and meaning. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 9, Overcoming Common Challenges in Mindfulness Practice. Welcome to Chapter 9, where we'll address one of the most important aspects of mindfulness, overcoming common challenges that arise during practice. While mindfulness is a simple concept, it's not always easy to implement consistently. Distractions, self-doubt, impatience, and even resistance can all stand in the way of building a sustainable practice. But here's the good news. These obstacles are entirely normal and they don't mean you're doing anything wrong. In fact, facing and working through them is part of the journey toward greater peace, clarity, and well-being. Let's dive in and explore how to navigate these hurdles with patience, persistence, and compassion. To begin, let's acknowledge that starting any new habit comes with its share of difficulties. Mindfulness is no exception. When you first sit down to meditate or bring awareness to your daily activities, you might find your mind racing, your body restless, or your motivation waning. These experiences can feel discouraging, especially if you expect instant results. But remember, mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection. It's about showing up again and again with an open heart and a curious mind. Each challenge you encounter is an opportunity to deepen your practice and grow. One of the most common obstacles beginners face is restlessness. Sitting still for extended periods can feel uncomfortable, especially in a world that prizes constant movement and productivity. You might fidget, itch, or feel an overwhelming urge to get up and do something useful. If this happens, don't judge yourself harshly. Instead, view these sensations as part of the process. Acknowledge the discomfort without trying to fix it. For example, if your legs feel stiff during meditation, gently adjust your posture rather than forcing yourself to endure pain. Remember, mindfulness is about meeting yourself where you are, not pushing beyond your limits. Another frequent challenge is dealing with a wandering mind. It's natural for thoughts to drift, to revisit past events, plan for the future, or replay conversations in your head. Many people mistakenly believe that having a busy mind means they're failing at mindfulness. However, the goal isn't to stop thinking altogether. It's to notice when your attention has wandered and gently guide it back to the present moment. Think of your thoughts like clouds passing across the sky. They come and go, but they don't define the sky itself. With practice, you'll develop greater mental clarity and focus, but patience is key. Let's talk about another hurdle, frustration with progress, or what feels like a lack thereof. Some days mindfulness will feel effortless, leaving you calm and centered. Other days it may seem impossible to quiet your mind or stay present. This inconsistency can lead to feelings of inadequacy or doubt. But here's the truth. Mindfulness is a lifelong practice, not a destination. There's no finish line to cross or trophy to win. Every session counts, whether it feels transformative or mundane. Celebrate the effort, not the outcome. Even on tough days, simply showing up is a victory worth honoring. Time constraints are another obstacle many people face. Between work, family, and personal commitments, finding time for mindfulness can feel daunting. The good news is that mindfulness doesn't require hours of dedicated practice. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Start small by incorporating mindful moments into your routine. For instance, take 3 deep breaths before starting your morning coffee, or pause for a minute of mindful breathing between tasks. Over time, these micro-practices add up, creating a foundation of presence and awareness. But for those who struggle with consistency, setting reminders can be incredibly helpful. Place sticky notes around your home or workspace with prompts like breathe deeply or check in with yourself. Use your phone's alarm to schedule mindfulness breaks throughout the day. Apps designed for guided meditations and mindfulness exercises can also provide structure and accountability. Experiment until you find a system that works for you, one that fits seamlessly into your lifestyle without adding stress. Another challenge worth addressing is skepticism. Some people approach mindfulness with doubts about its effectiveness, dismissing it as too simplistic or unscientific. While it's healthy to question new practices, consider giving mindfulness a fair chance before drawing conclusions. Approach it with curiosity and an open mind, treating it as an experiment rather than a requirement. You might discover unexpected benefits, such as improved sleep, reduced anxiety, or enhanced creativity. And if mindfulness doesn't resonate with you after consistent effort, that's okay too. There are countless paths to well-being, and finding the right one is a personal journey. Now let's discuss how to handle emotional resistance, a powerful barrier for many practitioners. Mindfulness often brings buried emotions to the surface, which can feel uncomfortable or overwhelming. For example, sitting quietly might unearth feelings of sadness, anger, or fear that you've been avoiding. Instead of suppressing these emotions or abandoning your practice, lean into them with compassion. Remind yourself that feeling difficult emotions is a sign of healing, not failure. Tools like journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking professional support can complement your mindfulness practice, helping you process and integrate these experiences. Distractions from external sources like noise, technology, or interruptions are another common challenge. It's tempting to blame our environment for disrupting mindfulness, but mindfulness actually teaches us to coexist with distractions rather than eliminate them. For instance, if a loud noise interrupts your meditation, instead of getting frustrated, observe it mindfully. Notice its pitch, volume, and duration. Then, gently return your focus to your breath or chosen anchor. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to remain centered despite chaos, a skill that translates beautifully to real-world situations. Mindful movement offers a solution for those who find seated meditation challenging. Practices like yoga, tai chi, or walking meditation combine physical activity with intentional awareness, making it easier to stay present. For example, during a mindful walk, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your steps, and the sights and sounds around you. Movement provides a focal point for your attention, reducing the likelihood of mental wandering while simultaneously benefiting your body. Self-compassion is essential for overcoming challenges in mindfulness. Too often we criticize ourselves for perceived shortcomings, believing that mindfulness should come easily or quickly. But just as you wouldn't scold a child for stumbling while learning to walk, treat yourself with kindness and understanding as you navigate this practice. If you miss a day or several days, don't beat yourself up. Simply acknowledge it, reset your intentions, and start anew. Progress isn't linear, and setbacks are part of the process. Let's also highlight the importance of community in sustaining a mindfulness practice. Practicing alone can sometimes feel isolating, especially during difficult phases. Connecting with others who share your interest in mindfulness can provide encouragement, inspiration, and accountability. Consider joining a local meditation group, attending workshops, or participating in online forums. Sharing your experiences and hearing others' stories reminds you that you're not alone in facing challenges, and that growth often emerges from shared struggles. Research supports the value of perseverance in mindfulness practice. Studies show that regular mindfulness training leads to measurable improvements in brain structure, emotional regulation, and overall well-being. Participants in long-term programs report increased resilience, reduced reactivity, and greater life satisfaction. These findings underscore the importance of sticking with mindfulness, even when it feels challenging. Consistency compounds over time, yielding profound and lasting benefits. As we reflect on the strategies for overcoming obstacles in mindfulness, I want to leave you with a reflection question. What's one challenge you've encountered in your mindfulness journey, and how might you approach it differently moving forward? Perhaps it's finding time, managing distractions, or staying patient with yourself. Imagine meeting that challenge with curiosity and compassion. How might shifting your perspective transform your experience? In the next chapter, we'll explore how to create a personalized mindfulness routine tailored to your unique needs and preferences. Until then, I encourage you to embrace the challenges you encounter as opportunities for growth. Whether it's practicing self-compassion, experimenting with mindful movement, or connecting with a supportive community, every step you take brings you closer to a fulfilling and sustainable mindfulness practice. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. Chapter 10. Creating a Personal Mindfulness Routine. Welcome to Chapter 10, where we'll explore how to create a personal mindfulness routine that fits seamlessly into your life. Up until now, we've discussed the what, why, and how of mindfulness, but now it's time to make it yours. A personalized mindfulness practice isn't just about following prescribed techniques. It's about crafting a rhythm that aligns with your unique needs, preferences, and lifestyle. In this chapter, we'll walk through the process step by step, offering practical tips and strategies to help you design a routine that feels authentic, sustainable, and transformative. Let's dive in and take ownership of your mindfulness journey. To begin, let's talk about why creating a personal routine is so important. While general guidelines can provide structure, mindfulness thrives when it's tailored to you. Think of it like designing your own garden. You wouldn't plant flowers that don't suit your climate or soil type, right? Similarly, your mindfulness practice should reflect your personality, goals, and daily realities. By customizing your approach, you increase the likelihood of sticking with it long term, turning mindfulness into a cherished habit rather than a chore. The first step in building a mindfulness routine is starting small. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is trying to overhaul their entire schedule overnight. They might commit to an hour-long meditation session every morning, only to feel overwhelmed and give up after a few days. Instead, aim for incremental changes that are easy to sustain. For example, dedicate just 5 minutes each day to mindfulness, whether it's breathing deeply, journaling, or savoring your morning coffee. Once this becomes a habit, you can gradually expand your practice to include additional activities or longer sessions. Let's delve deeper into some common mindfulness practices you might consider incorporating into your routine. Meditation is often the cornerstone of mindfulness, but it doesn't have to look a certain way. If traditional seated meditation feels inaccessible, try alternatives like guided meditations, walking meditations, or even mindful movement practices such as yoga or Tai Chi. The key is finding a form of meditation that resonates with you and feels enjoyable, not burdensome. For instance, if you love nature, outdoor meditations might energize and inspire you. If you prefer structure, apps or online courses can guide you through specific exercises. Another essential element of a mindfulness routine is setting intentions. Intentions act as anchors, reminding you why you're practicing mindfulness and what you hope to achieve. Take a moment to reflect on your motivations. Are you seeking stress relief, greater focus, deeper connections, improved physical health? Whatever your reasons, write them down and revisit them regularly. to stay aligned with your purpose. For example, you might say to yourself each morning, "Today I will bring awareness to my breath and cultivate gratitude for the little things." These simple affirmations reinforce your commitment and keep you motivated. Consistency is crucial for building any new habit, including mindfulness. To ensure regular practice, integrate mindfulness into existing routines rather than treating it as a separate activity. For example, pair mindfulness with daily tasks like brushing your teeth, commuting, or eating meals. During these moments, pause to notice your surroundings, sensations, and emotions. Over time, these micro-practices become second nature, embedding mindfulness into the fabric of your day. Additionally, scheduling mindfulness at the same time each day, such as first thing in the morning or before bed, helps establish a predictable rhythm. Now, let's discuss the importance of flexibility in your mindfulness routine. Life is unpredictable, and rigid schedules can sometimes backfire, leading to frustration or guilt when plans fall through. Instead of adhering strictly to a fixed timetable, allow room for adaptation. For instance, if you miss your usual morning meditation because of an early meeting, find another opportunity later in the day to reconnect with yourself. Flexibility ensures that mindfulness remains a source of comfort and support, not additional pressure. Mindful transitions are another powerful tool for weaving mindfulness into your daily life. Transitions, such as waking up, switching tasks, or winding down for the evening, are natural pauses where you can insert moments of presence. For example, upon waking, spend a few minutes focusing on your breath or stretching your body. Before diving into work, take a mindful pause to set an intention for the day ahead. And as you prepare for sleep, engage in calming activities like reading, journaling, or practicing gratitude. These transitional rituals help you navigate shifts smoothly, reducing stress and enhancing overall well-being. For those who enjoy variety, rotating different mindfulness practices keeps things fresh and engaging. You might alternate between seated meditation, mindful movement, journaling, and creative expression depending on your mood or energy levels. This diversity prevents boredom and allows you to explore multiple facets of mindfulness. For example, on high-energy days, you might opt for a vigorous yoga session or a brisk mindful walk. On quieter days, gentle stretches or reflective journaling might feel more appropriate. Listening to your body and honoring its needs ensures that your practice remains dynamic and fulfilling. Technology can be a valuable ally in supporting your mindfulness routine. Apps like Headspace, Calm, or Insight Timer offer guided meditations, timers, and progress trackers to keep you accountable. Online communities and virtual classes provide opportunities to connect with like-minded individuals, share experiences, and gain inspiration. However, it's important to strike a balance. While technology can enhance mindfulness, over-reliance on devices may detract from presence. Use tools wisely, ensuring they complement rather than dominate your practice. Accountability partners or groups can also play a significant role in sustaining your routine. Sharing your goals with a friend, family member, or colleague creates external motivation and fosters mutual encouragement. For example, you might agree to check in weekly to discuss your progress, challenges, and insights. Alternatively, joining a mindfulness group or workshop introduces you to a supportive community where you can learn, grow, and celebrate milestones together. Knowing that others are rooting for you strengthens your resolve and makes the journey more enjoyable. Let's address the role of self-compassion in maintaining a mindfulness routine. There will inevitably be days when life gets in the way and your practice falls by the wayside. Perhaps you oversleep, get caught up in work, or simply lack the energy to follow through. When this happens, resist the urge to criticize yourself or label it as failure. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Remind yourself that mindfulness is a lifelong journey, not a performance metric. Each day offers a fresh start, and every effort counts, no matter how small. Tracking your progress can be a helpful way to stay motivated and recognize growth over time. Keep a journal to document your experiences, noting what worked well, what felt challenging, and any insights or breakthroughs you encountered. Reflecting on these entries periodically helps you identify patterns, celebrate achievements, and adjust your approach as needed. For example, you might notice that morning practices energize you more than evening ones, prompting you to shift your schedule accordingly. Tracking also reinforces accountability, keeping you engaged and invested in your journey. As you build your mindfulness routine, remember that it's okay to experiment and evolve. What works for someone else might not resonate with you, and that's perfectly fine. Your practice is uniquely yours, shaped by your preferences, circumstances, and aspirations. Over time, you'll discover which elements bring you the most joy and fulfillment, allowing you to refine your routine into something truly special. Let's conclude with some final tips for creating a sustainable mindfulness routine. Prioritize quality over quantity. It's better to practice mindfully for 5 minutes than rush through 30 minutes absent-mindedly. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge every step forward, whether it's completing a single session or noticing increased awareness throughout the day. Stay curious. Approach mindfulness as an ongoing exploration, remaining open to new techniques and perspectives. Be patient. Growth takes time, and setbacks are part of the process. Trust that consistency will yield results. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reflection question. What's one action you can take today to start or deepen your mindfulness routine? Perhaps it's committing to a daily breathing exercise, exploring a new practice, or reaching out to a friend for support. Imagine taking that step with intention and enthusiasm. How might it set the tone for your mindfulness journey moving forward? In the next and final chapter, we'll bring everything full circle, summarizing the key takeaways from our exploration of mindfulness and leaving you with words of encouragement for the road ahead. Until then, I invite you to embrace the process of creating your personal mindfulness routine, knowing that each choice you make brings you closer to greater peace, clarity, and joy. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's continue uncovering the transformative power of mindfulness together. And so we arrive at the closing of our journey together, a journey that has taken us deep into the heart of mindfulness and its transformative power. Over the past 2 hours, we've explored what mindfulness is, how it benefits your mind, body, and relationships, and how you can weave it into the fabric of your daily life. We've uncovered its roots in ancient wisdom, validated its effectiveness through modern science, and provided practical tools to help you cultivate presence, resilience, and joy. As we reflect on everything we've discussed, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. Mindfulness isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about achieving some ideal state of calm or enlightenment. It's about showing up fully for yourself and the world around you moment by moment. Every breath you take mindfully, every emotion you observe without judgment, every ordinary moment you savor, these are all victories. They may seem small, but their cumulative impact is profound. One of the most beautiful aspects of mindfulness is its accessibility. You don't need special equipment, expensive classes, or hours of free time to practice it. All you need is a willingness to pause, pay attention, and embrace the present moment. Whether it's taking 3 deep breaths before a meeting, savoring the aroma of your morning coffee, or simply noticing the sensation of your feet touching the ground as you walk, mindfulness is always available to you. It's a gift you can give yourself anytime, anywhere. Remember too that mindfulness is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be days when it feels effortless and others when it seems impossible. That's okay. What matters most is your commitment to returning to the practice again and again, no matter how many times you stray. Each step forward strengthens your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and clarity. I also want to acknowledge the courage it takes to embark on this path. In a world that often prioritizes speed over stillness, productivity over presence, choosing mindfulness is an act of rebellion, a declaration that you value depth over superficiality, connection over distraction, and authenticity over conformity. By embracing mindfulness, you're not just improving your own well-being, you're contributing to a ripple effect of positivity that touches everyone you encounter. Before we part ways, I'd like to express my gratitude for your time, your openness, and your willingness to explore this practice alongside me. Creating content for the Mindful Zone is a privilege, and knowing that these words might inspire even one person to live more mindfully fills me with immense joy. If you found value in this video, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content designed to support your journey toward greater peace and fulfillment. As we close this chapter, I invite you to carry the spirit of mindfulness forward into your life. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. The beauty of mindfulness lies in its simplicity. It's always within reach, wherever you are, whenever you need it. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. And let's end this journey with a simple yet powerful reminder. You are enough exactly as you are. Your presence matters. Your awareness has the power to transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Thank you for joining me on this peaceful journey. Until next time, may you find peace, joy, and clarity in every moment. Namaste.